Good evening. Good evening. And welcome to the nonviolent, cosmic, Morehouse Assembly. That's different from last year, where we included the names interfaith and interdenominational Morehouse Assembly. But because of the world we are living in and the crises that we are experiencing, I made the decision to eliminate interdenominational and interfaith. The rationale behind that is that the world is very divided. And unfortunately, some of the reason has to do with religious isolationism. And I thought that a memorial chapel named in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. needed to reflect his theology and philosophy in order to be a legitimate tribute to him. And in his last book, the last chapter of that book, he pointed us in the direction that we should go. And he titled the chapter of that book, The World House. We have taken that pretty seriously in this country, and people, when asked, might say, I'm a global citizen. What they really mean is, I have planetary interests. I feel a connectedness beyond my country to people on other continents. But an interesting thing happened here in the chapel. For many years, decades, we had on the balcony 50 nation-state flags that were put up for the inauguration of Walter E. Massey as president of the college, for his inauguration. And we chose the flags that represented the countries that our faculty had studied in and that our students were from. And a few flags of those who have been honored here, like Prince Azan of Jordan. But on the day of the crown form of the Otis Moss Jr. and the Otis Moss III oratorical contest, the students were giving their orations. I was standing in the rear, and I didn't notice this student when he entered the crown nave, but I noticed him when he arrived at the end of that aisle and started across the front of the platform. And that young man was carrying a flag. I couldn't tell which flag, which country it represented, but I knew it was from the balcony because of the gold spear on the end. And I saw him waving the flag in the middle of the young man's oration from this podium, and I assumed he was going up the steps and out of the building with the flag. I assumed he was stealing the flag. I rushed through the lobby, went out the side to see whether he was going to right or left, and I didn't see him. And I thought he had beat me out there and had gone around the building this way. I called the police and I ordered them to go two directions in their cars to cut him off. But when I came back in the building and came down the aisle, I saw a flag on a pole sticking out of the chair, hanging in the aisle. To make a long story short, the young man came toward me saying, I did it, I'm guilty, it's civil disobedience. They're killing the children. They're killing the children. I took him by the elbow into my office, and I called the counseling office, but they didn't answer, so I then called the police, and 5 officers came, and he had another outburst in the office about killing the children, and they took him away. And the students immediately started the rumor, Dean Carter had him arrested. No, I didn't. And neither did the president, and neither did the faculty or the staff. And he came in later in the afternoon, and we had a long talk. The flag is back up in 30 minutes. But in 30 minutes, I got a call from the Consul General of Israel. And in 15 minutes, I got a call from New Orleans. One of our students was down there, and he knew about the flag, and he wanted to know, is it true? And I said, it is, but it's going back up. He said, good. I'm telling you all of this because on the Sunday after that, when I stepped off the platform after the service, one of my chapel assistants said, Dean, look at the balcony. The flag was gone. I knew that it was stolen this time and that it would not go back up, but I also knew I should not replace it. Because the student was playing checkmate with the administration. And yes, I'm the administration also. And I wasn't going to waste money on just buying more and more flags. So I called the president, told him what happened, and told him what I wanted to do, and he agreed. Take down all of the flags because they were sending the wrong message. The name of the chapel with international in it wasn't doing what we thought it was going to do. These nations are simply national states whose sovereignty is propped up by militaries. And we are coming from a nonviolent place. And so I said to the president, I want to take down all the flags and put up 50 United Nations flags. And we already have 7 flying around the tower honoring Howard Thurman out there, the obelisk. And we have one sitting on the stage, which traditionally sits back there, and I brought it up here for this nonviolent cosmic World House Assembly. Why the UN flag? Because I think it is a nonviolent cosmic World House flag. It has the globe on it, you can see the continents. It has olive branches on both sides for peace. And of course, I think I'd be right if I said you think the blue is for the sky. Think bigger. The blue is for the cosmos. It's for the universe. We are moving from being global citizens to being cosmic citizens, universal citizens. Why? Because if you don't become a cosmic citizen, you will never assume the responsibility for addressing global warming. Please hear that. I could illustrate that powerfully, but I think my handlers are saying your call to assembly is too long. I see Henry Goodgame sitting on the front row, giving me the evil eye. And so, we welcome you to this house, the Cosmic World House, because the World House is in the cosmos. And we hope you will go spread the word that this is the nonviolent, cosmic World House Dream Center.
Oh them one of the greatest tasks every generation is given, and it's the responsibility to record history. Every generation must document, record, and make sure that generations to come learn from our mistakes. And I am so proud to stand here today to introduce a video, a small part of a film called Shared Legacies, where it took the history, real history, that some people don't want to be heard or seen, where the suffering and the pain of being hated and the violence that goes when hatred is unanswered, the Black and the Jewish community, and the amazing history of during the Civil Rights Movement, when the Jewish community came and walked literally arm in arm with the Black community. The Black community who opened the doors for Jewish immigrants who came to this country and was not allowed to teach at major universities, but the HBCUs opened the door. There's so many stories of how blood and even lives of the Jewish community was given during the Civil Rights Movement. I am so proud to be able to introduce this video where you'll see the current movement of our chairman, Dr. Jones, who's working with Roger Kraft to start messaging on what hate looks like today. And I will say to everyone here, and you heard it in the song, and Dr. King reminded us, the rabbi reminded us at the March on Washington, the greatest threat to freedom is silence. And we have learned, and we're seeing now, and I hope we never become numb to what we're witnessing. And this generation, not only do we have the right and the responsibility to record, but to speak up. And so please enjoy this video. Thank you.
The people who will change the nation are those who speak out, who refuse to be bystanders, who raise their voices against injustice. When we stand up to silence, we stand up to all hate.
There's an African proverb that says that the lions don't tell their stories. The hunters will get all the credit.
I'm telling you the story now because you're a young lion. Lionesses.
My great-grandfather had been in slavery, and it goes across generations. You just don't get rid of it simply because there are no chains on you.
We paid a certain dues because we were slaves. It's what they call a left-handed compliment on us and on the Jew. Well, there's a shared history that's deeper than we're talking about here. There's a shared history of the Egyptian and the Jew. Let's talk about Moses, talking about the pyramid, talking about no civilization. Slavery is not new.
The effects of slavery are still very prominent, just as the effects of the Holocaust are still very prominent amongst our brothers and sisters in the Jewish community.
The Jewish people have the DNA in their soul to look up close to what happened to African Americans after slavery.
It was those Jewish American friends that recognized what was going on and joined with us to create the NAACP in 1909. If you look at the list of our founding members, you'll see as many Jewish Americans on that list as there were African Americans.
Most of the Jewish leaders that I met in the labor movement, which was very pivotal, very key to me, were very deeply involved with the welfare of black people, because most of them were concerned about the conditions of the human family.
We came to the South, young Jews, rabbis, many of them refugees from Nazi Germany. We hear Dr. King quoting the prophets. That was extraordinary. It made us proud.
Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel said, the future of America will depend on how it responds to Dr. King.
As a matter of fact, if you were Jewish and not involved in our cause, we held you in great suspicion.
Jewish and black lawyers working together helped transform the legal landscape.
Well, Stan Levinson and Harry Whitetail, the lawyers were working with Dr. King. They were lawyers, advisors, marchers, fundraisers. They were in the thick of things. Our relationship is really in blood, and that blood is non-negotiable.
Many Jewish students worked all across the South. And I will never, ever forget 3 young men, Andy Goodman, Micah Schroeder, and James Jane. They were so viciously angry at Michael Schroeder and Andrew Goodman. You know why? Because they were white and Jewish. And how dare they come to Mississippi and work for black people? The letter is the most important manifesto for social justice in the 20th century. In the text of that letter, in explaining why he has a commitment to obey laws which are just and disobey laws that are unjust, and he uses as an example that he had been in Hitler Germany and he had been told he couldn't write or associate with a Jew. That was an unjust law. He said, I would have broken that law, an unjust law, and I would have associated with my colleagues who were Jewish.
Side president never lets me forget that he went to jail twice before I did, and that he was with the first group of rabbis that came down to St. Augustine.
When they arrived, all of them were put in one small group of cells, but they had come to support us.
I said to them, welcome, glad to see you. I said, when white folk and black folk started going to jail together, they were really making progress.
We could not have gotten anywhere had not Protestants, Catholics, and Jews showed up from all over the world.
Rabbi Jacob M spoke immediately before Dr. King.
The most shameful and the most tragic problem is silence.
The silence of the good people. It was powerful.
There was a black Jewish coalition that nobody talked about. Rabbi Rothschild and Denise have always been like part of my family.
Not everybody in the Temple family was happy with Rabbi Rothschild's sermons. Almost every time I would walk out after one of his sermons, one was talking about civil rights again. It was just his constant, he never let up on civil rights and doing the right thing, and he spoke with the voice of the prophet.
Benjamin Mays was president of Morehouse College and was Martin King's president. And he made the decision that Morehouse College would be the first to honor Dr. King in Atlanta. And he could not do that by himself. Dr. Mays was intimately acquainted with Rabbi Rothschild. And so after Benjamin Mays made his first approach to Ralph McGill, his second was to Rabbi Rothschild, and both signed on full-throatedly that Martin King should be honored not just in the black community in Atlanta, but in downtown Atlanta. There should be a gathering like there had never been before that was interracial.
He has been acclaimed for his leadership, his willingness to risk his life, his courage in despairing moments, and his persistence in the pursuit of peace. I take great pride in honoring this citizen of Atlanta who is willing to turn the other cheek in his quest for full citizenship for all America. Thank you.
The great thing about this story is that it's a story of struggle, it's a story of overcoming, it's a story of identity and belonging, it's a story that's ultimately about the universal human experience.
We don't have to look for a new way of doing it. We have a template in our history. And now to take the coalition we developed and to extend with the coalition of the younger generation We have to come together and say to the country, we're not going to take the continued persistence of racism, and we're going to do it nonviolently. The soul of America is at stake.
Like, I think the story that Spill the Honey tells is a testament to what is possible. It's a testament to hope. It's a testament to human connection and to friendship and to the political power of love.
They say this game won't last forever, but when will it end? I see my brother lose his life when he was only 10. Everybody got some blood on their hands. We gotta fight this thing together, that's a part of the plan. They can't break us to the ground, if united we stand. Dr. King gave us this message from a soul-burning hand. A curse of justice anywhere, danger to us all. If we take one player off the court, then none of us can walk. We're connected as a soul, we can't let each other fall. If it's us against the world, then I'm ready to take it.
Thank you. That's only eight minutes of a 1 hour and 30-minute documentary. And I want to recognize Dr. Sherry Rogers, who spent 10 years of her life getting voices in the history of the Black-Jewish relations. Dr. Rogers.
Rabbi Rothschild was the rabbi of Atlanta's oldest and most prominent Jewish synagogue. Member of the legal defense team for the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Charged with tax fraud by the state of Alabama. King was acquitted. Fortune magazine's Man of the Month twice. Chosen to address the 2024 Super Bowl audience of over 123.7 million people. You saw the video. Speaking on anti-Semitism and racism. General Counsel of the Gandhi Society for Human Rights, the SCLC fundraising arm, and a member of King's research committee, helping him always remain situationally relevant. Jones disseminated King's letter from the Birmingham jail in 1963, advised and copyrighted King on his I Have a Dream speech, 1963, and Beyond Vietnam speech, 1967, and represented the SCLC in the landmark libel case, New York versus Sullivan, 1964. Jones was requested by New York Governor Nelson Rockefeller to serve as a negotiator during the Attica prison riot. Editor, publisher, and part owner of the New York Amsterdam News. Thank you.
I'm so honored that Dean Carter invited Spill the Honey to Morehouse, and Spill the Honey donated Dr. Clarence B. Jones' portrait that will live here at Morehouse for eternity. And Rabbi Berg in the temple donated Rabbi Rothschild's portrait. And we look forward to the unveiling of the portrait. And who honored us tonight and introduced the 8-minute clip was Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence. So honored to have her and Mally Wilson perform the Spill the Honey anthem, No More Silence. So thrilled to be here. Thank you.